What's up, guys? AMG back at Warrior Bet MMA on Twitter and just about everything else. I just want to quickly touch on Alonzo Menifield versus Devin Clark. It is the second fight of the night, June 6th for UFC 250 on Saturday. So I taped this actually last month or 2 weeks ago. This matchup was originally scheduled, I think. Let me quickly check. It was supposed to be scheduled. They were scheduled to fight last month on the 2nd, but it got canceled. So it's not like these are really late replacement fighters. They both have had a pretty good training camp, I would assume. They've had a lot of time to prepare for each other. But yeah, so they rebooked here for Saturday. Now, I taped this fight, and I understand the angle and people wanting to play Devin Clark. That plus 180, plus 190 looks pretty good. Honestly, you look through Alonzo Menifield's record, you watch the tape, you sit down and actually watch it. I mean, on paper as well, you can see the dude doesn't really get out of the first round. He hasn't really gone through any type of adversity. He hasn't shown the ability to go 15 minutes and win a unanimous decision. And honestly, at the end of a couple first rounds, he looks tired already. He looks like he's ready to gas. Unfortunately, with Daniel Jolly, and I think even in the Paul Craig fight towards the end of the round, it looked like he was slowing down a bit. He's a big, muscular guy, so I could understand why he is gassing, but it's not a good look going forward. I mean, in the Paul Craig fight, it looked like he was gassing. In the Daniel Jolly fight in 2017, it looked like he was ready to gas if that second round actually got started, but Daniel Jolly didn't get off his seat. There's a ton of fights to where it gets towards that tail end of the first round, and you can tell he's going to slow down. Now, he's a finisher, man. Those hands are so lightning fast. He's so explosive. He's got a lot of punching, a lot of stopping power. So it's just like, is Devin Clark the right guy to play the underdog money against Alonzo Menifield? Because down the line, honestly, Alonzo Menifield, I don't think, until I see him go 15 hard minutes or past that first round and keep pushing, I mean, I could honestly see why people want to fade Alonzo Menifield. He's got a lot of skills. He's very explosive. He's a great athlete, but there's a big hole in his game, and there's a lot of questions unanswered. Is Devin Clark the kind of guy to answer the questions? I think stylistically, yes, Devin Clark could answer those questions for us. He could get out of the first round, and if this fight gets extended, I mean, Devin Clark's going to look like a very solid bet if he got plus 200, plus 190. I think all he has to do really is survive the first round. But I think it's very likely that Alonzo Menifield gets him out in the first round. Devin Clark's the kind of guy to run away from his opponents, turn his back to opponents. He really don't like that. I've seen it numerous times in Devin Clark fights where he just turns his back to his opponent. His opponents are throwing huge punches at him and he just runs away. So it's really not a good look. But if Devin Clark can get past his first 5 minutes, I really like his chances to grind out Alonzo Menifield. I really like his wrestling. I really like his top control. And combine that with the fact that I think Alonzo Menifield has a suspect gas tank, I think Devin Clark could look like a great bet if he gets out of the first round. So those are just my quick thoughts, but I think if you're playing Alonzo Menifield, the best way to bet this fight is Alonzo Menifield in round 1 or inside the distance. Most likely a KO prop. Maybe you can get the KO prop at a good price. Currently, Alonzo Menifield is minus 220. Devin Clark is plus 180. So there's only 8 props out right now. So Menifield inside the distance is minus 170. Maybe you can get the KO prop at minus 140 or so. But yeah, most likely he's going to finish this fight in the first round if he wins this fight. So I think the best way to approach this fight, if you like Menifield, round 1 or the KO prop. And if you're on Devin Clark, the money line's not a bad bet. I personally don't think I'm going to play it because I do think it's very likely Alonzo Menifield just starches him in the first round. So I think there's a good opportunity here. Maybe you can just hold off. If he gets out of that first round, get ready to live bet him. If he gets out of that first round, I'm fixing a live bet Devin Clark, depending on what we see. because most likely we're going to see Alonzo Menifield start to slow down. We're going to see him weathered. He's going to be huffing and puffing at the end of this first round if Devin Clark survives. So I think this is a good live bet opportunity for Devin Clark after round 1. But also, I don't think Devin Clark is going to finish Alonzo Menifield if it does get out of the first round. You look at Devin Clark's record, he doesn't really have a lot of finishes. They're all decision, unanimous wins. He hasn't had a finish since 2015, so I don't think it's very likely he's going to finish Alonzo Menifield. I think he's just going to control a top position in wrestling. So I do actually think maybe pre-bet if you do want to get something down on Devin Clark. I would probably suggest the decision prop at plus 350. Maybe get a little bit down on decision prop and then get ready to live bet after round 1. And let's look at fight goes to decision and the over-under. Fight doesn't go to decision is minus 285. I don't think you can play that here. I mean, realistically, I think the only person who's going to finish inside the distance is Menifield, so I don't think there's any value attached to that at all. And the over-under is set at 1.5 rounds. The under is minus 105 currently. If you like Menifield, I guess that makes sense to play the under, but you can't really cover both sides. I don't think Clark has a good chance of finishing Menifield in the first half of the fight, so don't really think there's any value there. If you like Menifield, like I said, he's going to finish in the first round, so maybe if you're a little anxious, go ahead and play the minus 105 right now, under 1.5. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to have an official play, but like I said, I think the betting strategy here is wait to see if Devin Clark survives round 1. If he does, I think he's going to look like a live dog in rounds 2 and 3, so look to take advantage of that. Let me know who you guys are betting this fight. Do you trust Menifield to get him out in the first round? How are you attacking this fight? Let me know. See you guys Saturday, June 6th.